87,110, that's the number of miles on my Forerunner. It's an extraordinary figure after 3 years of ministry. It's a really good thing that I know a really good car guy. 87,110 miles of this incredible shared ministry of visitations and travel, of doing the work together both inside and outside of the diocese. I've traveled from the river to the bayou, from cities to small towns, from large churches to small ones. I've spent time in our incredible Episcopal schools, such as St. Martin's and Episcopal, who host our conventions. I've seen the calling of a full-time chaplain at St. James Place. I've seen people continue to love and to serve and to worship, even when the world around them is challenging and even threatening. Even when there are uncertain times about finances or leadership or age or the next increase in our utilities or our insurance. Time and time again, you show me what faith looks like in its most resilient form, yet the truth remains that we are faced with real challenges that do not have easy answers or quick fixes. So given the reality of all of this, I've been asking myself, what is the one thing? What is the one thing that we have as Christians in this time? What is the one thing that roots us, that calls us back when everything else seems uncertain? We love out loud. This year marks the third in our convention themes based on faith, hope, and love. Each year we have been asked to really consider, what are our voices in these moments? How do our words and our actions reflect God's call to us to be the voice for the voiceless? A home, a community of welcome, a belonging, and of service. When I meet with the newest members of the church, when I visit, I sit down with them and I talk to them and I ask them, what brought you here? What brought you to the Episcopal Church? They say, because someone invited me. I found a home when I thought it was impossible. I stayed because I found a family and because I feel loved. I read that in the Episcopal Church, all are welcome, and I actually believed that it meant me. These words resonate so deeply with me. All are welcome is our standard. It is our non-negotiable. Every time we pour the water of baptisms or proclaim the baptismal covenant, we are praying for something radical. We are saying that God loved us first. Not because of what we have done, but because of who God is. So over the last 5 months, I've been hosting these podcasts around the 5 questions of the baptismal covenant. I've invited friends and colleagues to come and share conversation with me. I've bid us to take a deeper dive into how the Episcopal Church will stand for dignity and respect for all human beings, also acknowledging a time in our history and in our past when we have, as an Episcopal Church, fallen very short of this mark. Yet, by really engaging in the questions, we do all that we can to learn how to grow with God's help. Our baptismal covenant calls us to seek and serve Christ in all persons, loving our neighbor as ourselves, and to strive for justice and peace among all people. Again, I challenge us not just to think about what that means, but to be called to prayerful action. We are faced with a rise in trends that, in the name of our shared faith, tempt to draw these stark lines between us and them. It is dangerous, it is threatening, and it shuts down the promise of inclusion and welcome that stand at the core of who we are as Episcopalians and the core of who we are and what we believe. Our lives, our social media feeds, they're filled with hate and division, of right and left, of Democrat and Republican. However, we have to hold on to what Paul says to us. There is no longer Jew or Greek. There is no longer slave or free. There is no longer male or female, for all of you are one in Christ Jesus. And this isn't about preaching politics. It's about proclaiming the gospel. And doing this does not make any of us any less patriotic. I was thinking about it. I have flown a flag, American flag, outside my house for the entirety of my adult life. I am the daughter, the sister, and the wife of veterans. The baptismal covenant is about holding fast to the very core of our theology and our beliefs as Episcopalians and as Americans. Our focus is to be fixed on a living God who reigns in love and justice. This is how we maintain our Christian witness. So when our faith is fused with nationalism that seeks not to bind together but to separate and to corrupt, we risk turning the cross into a banner of exclusion rather than a symbol of love and redemption. And as is currently playing out in the wider Anglican Communion over the selection of the first female Archbishop of Canterbury, it is because of our bonds, not outside of them, that we share in the risen Christ and step in and through this conflict like we have so many others before. Because there is always in Jesus the hope and the promise of unity. So when we say that we love out loud, we do so in our quiet prayers, but we also do so in public witness. We do so when we feed the hungry, like so many of you do, when you defend the vulnerable, when you tell the truth, even though it's difficult. For Jesus says, because of this you will know that you are we will know that we are each other's disciples if we have love for one another. This love is not sentimental. It is courageous. It is a bridge and a table. It is not walls that separate us. It stands against fear and hatred and the misuse of God's name for earthly power instead of love. When I became bishop, people often ask me, so what is your vision for the diocese? And for a long time, I focused on that question, but over the last few years, I've realized something even more important. It's really not my vision that matters. It is you. It is our collective voice. What do we have to say about who Jesus is? How do we really, really love well? What would our neighbors say about us if they didn't know us? If we say, tell us, what do you think about St. Swithin's? What would our communities think or feel or experience if they're no longer a part of our towns or cities? I had an opportunity when I was at Sewanee a few weeks ago to hear Andrew Root. I highly commend him to you. And he writes extensively about what it means to be the church in a secular age, when many times we don't think that God is continuing to act. He reminds us that the renewal of the church will not just come with new programs or perfect strategies, but rather with the shared awareness of God's living presence. I've experienced over and over again this week after week all across the diocese. I have seen increases in attendance as well as confirmations. Your budgets have grown and giving has increased. As Keith pointed out yesterday, over the last 16 years of budgets, since 2011, we have only passed 3 balanced budgets. Now, if you look to the number to the right, you will see that mostly at the end of the year-end figure, we did an extraordinary job of managing our expenses. Most years we ended up in the black or significantly reduced the deficit. We've not seen a balanced budget since 2020, and as bishop, it was a primary goal of mine, and it is your generosity, your faith, your sacrificial gifts, and our attention to the financial stability of this diocese that has made that happen, and I thank you. It has also meant that we've had to make some hard decisions. In January, we closed the Chapel of the Holy Comforter at the University of New Orleans. No bishop ever wants to close a congregation. It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking for the community. It is heartbreaking for the clergy who have in the past and continue to serve that community. In just a few weeks, we will close on the sale of that property to another Christian congregation. And as we have done so for so many years, well over 100 years, with the resources of Francis Joseph Godet and the Grace Fund, this money will be used not to turn on the lights, but for mission and ministry. Our carefully managed long-term investments, along with your assessments, have meant that when 12 of you are in transition, Canon McIntyre and our office is there for you, coordinating and leading and praying with you. Okay, get ready for this next number. When 25 of you are discerning ordination, we walk with you. We support you at one of our seminaries or Iona program, nurturing the newest leaders of our church. When 4 congregations are receiving grace funds to support full-time clergy, 17 priests and deacons beginning new calls. It means that when you call the diocesan office for guidance on property or insurance or parish support or just an SOS or I don't know how to register for my insurance or whatever it might be, someone's going to answer the phone and be there for you. It means that we host youth gatherings and relaunch participation in happening for the first time in years. When $160,000 is given to the most vulnerable through direct grants from Episcopal Relief and Development. When the Godet Committee distributes over $200,000 in grants to schools and organizations supporting Black youth. It means that when we offer our Love Out Loud Lay Leadership Summit and microgrants are given to some of you who are doing remarkable work. It means that we can share accurate and accessible information through our website. It means that when crises arise, and they do, we are only a phone call away or a visit away day or night. We are committed to following our Safe Church guidelines as well as holding fast to the disciplinary accountability of our clergy and lay people. It means when you walk in a pride march, or visit the incarcerated, or train new deacons, or hold bilingual Eucharist, or teach English as a second language, or explore ways to heal the environment, the Diocese of Louisiana stands with you. It is a $1.25 million grant to offer the little box of good news to you and your families. It's when I participate in the wider church and work alongside Bishop Rowe in the planning of House of Bishops meetings. Because, my friends, this is not just about dollars and deficits. It's about discipleship. It's about how we love out loud, whether we are in Bayou de Large, or Baton Rouge, or New Orleans, or Houma, or St. Luke's, or St. Philip's, wherever we may be. It is the life-giving love of Jesus made visible through the Episcopal Church right here in Louisiana. Because our baptism reminds us that God didn't act one time a long time ago, but that God is acting still. That's what it means to make that quiet, invisible, and steady love of God so present. The early church in the book of Acts knew this well. They didn't have budgets or institutional plans. They had the Spirit of God given through the witness of Jesus Christ. They had each other. And they had the promise that God was going to be faithful. The apostles turned the world upside down, not through power or even certainty, but through acts of love, breaking bread, healing, visiting, proclaiming, forgiving. When Peter and John healed the beggar at the gate, they did not give him gold or silver. They gave him the living Christ. And this is what we are also called to give. The truth is, too, we also face very stiff headwinds, real headwinds that we are aware of. Rising property and liability insurance threaten the stability of many of our parishes. Over the past 18 months, our staff, myself, the canon, Chris Speed, and our insurance committee have worked tirelessly with both private carrier and church insurance to explore solutions. We'll be presenting those findings to the executive board in November, and you will hear from us soon. The Solomon Center continues to face challenges similar to those of camp and conference centers nationwide, aging infrastructure, and rising costs. But we are also meeting those challenges head on, clarifying our mission, developing new clientele, and charting a sustainable future for faithful leadership. There has been something that has been a dream of this diocese for a long time, and we have found a solution. We are going to be renovating the director's house to become Virginia's house, a long-time hoped-for place of lodging and retreat for our youth. Thank you to Miss Virginia Weinman for her extraordinary gift. But there's more. And today, I'm really thrilled to share this news with you. As you know, we have been participating in the Episcopal Church Foundation's Diocesan Vitality Initiative, focusing on insurance, sustainable finances, and communication. I am happy to announce that the next step for us is to explore a diocesan-wide endowment campaign to strengthen our parishes for generations to come. This is going to be work with all of us, for all of us. So over the next few months, we'll be asking questions, listening deeply, identifying ways that we can grow together. We're going to invite clergy and lay people from every corner of our diocese to help share this wisdom. If you are called, we ask you to please engage and help us to share the vision of this future. When all of that is done, we'll share a report and talk about what the next steps will be. This is a new day for the Diocese of Louisiana, and together we are expanding our mission, deepening our sustainability, and strengthening our shared witness. Together we are the future of this church. So I want to share a picture with you. Okay. See this little guy? Okay. Come on. This is the best part of my job. Okay, so I met this little guy during one of my visits. And he is an every Sunday churchgoer. And let me just say that his parents and his grandmother, I think he just can't drive yet. So I think... And so after church, he came up to me and he said, "Bishop," okay, this guy, right? "Bishop, I have a question." I said, "Go ahead." He said, "Why didn't you carry your stick or your staff the entire service?" I think I kind of fumbled through the answer about needing my hands to put hands on people's heads. He was completely he did not buy that at all. He had this furrow in his brow and he said, "Bishop, if you don't carry your stick, how will you grab the sheep if they get lost?" Good point. I love this for several reasons. Okay, clearly this child has found comfort in his church. He has clearly been attending his godly play classes. But more than that, he sees at his young age a connection between himself and the office of the bishop. His comments are humbling and challenging. We have the challenge ourselves to make sure that churches are welcoming to children just like him. And it might mean moving some things around. It might mean a little noise or a play area, but he is our future. I have a sacred responsibility as your bishop, and it's heart work. Heart. It's sometimes hard too, but heart work. I commit myself to you and what we have to do together. There is so much joy. People see it. When people come in, like Bishop Owensby or the Bishop of Alabama who came in Glenda Curry, came in last year for a clergy conference, she goes, y'all like each other. And I'm like, yes, we do. And it's not something to take for granted. There is hard work to do, a lot of it. I have and I will continue to make hard decisions. I am quite certain that I have made mistakes, but we have also seen growth and joy, and I want you to know that I love doing this with you. So I want to end by saying thank you. Thank you for this incredible privilege to be your bishop. Thank you for your warm welcome each and every week. Jimmy and I love traveling around this diocese. I have such admiration for you. You bring me joy. Thank you to my incredible, amazing staff. We have a group text, and Chris turned off he wasn't feeling well the other day. He turned it off. He said when he woke up, he had like 45 messages in the group text. We have fun with it. It's great. You're brave, and you are talented, and you are gritty, and you are fiercely loyal. I am grateful for the love of my husband and my sons and my family and my friends who keep me grounded. We have so many good days ahead of us. And what we must do is get outside and share this message of love, to love out loud. Thank you.